lovely good morning to you, our viewers, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Camnet TV Breakfast Show of today being the 15th of August 2022. A lovely month indeed, and I hope you're having a very fantastic morning. I am your host Miriam Kaimba, and in studio I am not alone. I'm joined by my beautiful colleague Zipporah Mushala. Good morning, Zipporah, and how are you?
Good morning, Miriam. I'm good. How are you? And good morning to our viewers out there. I hope you're having a wonderful Monday. I know it's not easy to wake up after the weekend,
on Monday,
but we have to actually get into that mood.
Exactly. You know, I was telling myself in the morning, I was really feeling tired because yesterday I was working, of course. So I was like, do I really need to wake up? Do I? But anyway, we are here, and we thank God for the gift of life. It's very important that, you know, we continue giving the best to our viewers. In case you're watching us, please do note that we do also stream live on our Facebook page. And Zipporah, for our guests, I mean our viewers out there, we would like to mention that we are having some technical issues with our phone, so we won't be able to, you know, get your calls. But if you're watching us live on Facebook, please drop us that comment or question, and we'll be able to respond to that. Yeah.
Yes, definitely, Miriam. And at 8 hours, we expect to be joined by some members of Parliament to just help us discuss from the community perspective. Since UPND was actually sworn into office, but that does not yet reach, it's on 24th August. Oh. But this is the month in which they are sworn in. Have the lives of ordinary, yes, it's already here. So we're going to hear now from members of Parliament who represent the constituencies. So they represent ordinary Zambians. Have the lives of Zambians in any way improved? Of course, we're talking about having economy is improving, but under the UPND so far, have we seen an improvement? Going forward, before their 5-year tenure is up, do we see an improvement? So I'm sure the MPs will break it down for us and elaborate further. But for now, Miriam, as usual, before we start our day, we're going to look at mental health awareness today with one of the doctors, as usual. And just a reminder to our sponsors, to the viewers, that the health segment is actually up for sponsorship, and as well as the money market. So let's just have the doctor enlighten us on mental health awareness.
Good morning, viewers, and my name is Dr. Ebedi Sadoki. I'm a public health specialist currently working with USAID SAFE. Today I'm with you, and we're going to talk about mental health awareness. I would like to start by just helping us define what is mental health. Mental health is a section of health which encompasses emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, or act. It helps us determine how we handle stress at every stage in our lives, and also how we also relate to others and the decisions we make. So today I want us to just focus on what it is about, because it's important to us, and it also helps us how to look at patients with mental disorders differently, because these people are usually stigmatized, they're usually abused, both physically, sexually. And I thought that we could create this awareness and know that mental health is important at every stage of our lives. Start with childhood, adolescence, through adulthood. And I would also like to look and understand how the common manifestations of disorders and how and what triggers it in our environment, and how to treat mental health illnesses and prevention of health disorders. This I will come to you in the next few days. Today I hope that you have understood something, and I hope that even with just the definition we'll be able to treat our mental health patients differently. So goodbye for now. till tomorrow when we come and talk about the common manifestations of mental health disorders. Thank you.
A very, very insightful topic there with the doctor on mental health awareness. And so that is just an introduction. And as we go into the week, we're going to learn more actually about mental health awareness. And so just now we take a look at the money market. Let's see how our culture is faring against major international convertibles. So let's just take a look at today's money market. So we have the euro, which is buying at 16 kwacha 14 ngwe, selling at 16 kwacha 72 ngwe. The Great British Pound, which is buying at 19 kwacha 36 ngwe, selling at 19 kwacha 74 ngwe. The United States dollar, which is buying at 15 kwacha 95 ngwe, selling at 16 kwacha 26 ngwe. The South African rand, which is buying at 0 kwacha 98 ngwe, and selling at 1 kwacha. So they especially our interest, Miriam, the US dollar to the kwacha. But I think so far, for like 2 to 3 months now, it's ranging between 15 and 16.
Yeah. Consequently, the Zambian kwacha has been at high demand, Zipporah. That's something that we should also, continue to note. But anyway, we are glad that we are moving in the right trajectory, and we hope, this is only 1 year, we hope that in the next 4 years, the UPND administration will be able, to deliver more with what they promise with regard to how they are going to change our economy as well as our currency. Yeah.
Yes, and just a reminder that you can actually come and sponsor the money market. It's actually up for grabs. Come and sponsor the money market. And so moving on, but like we said, Miriam, earlier, whereby today we do not have phone calls, but you can always leave us a message on Facebook and just let us know your view on what we are discussing. Yesterday, Miriam, there was a story from Patrick in July where we saw this person who worked as a police officer before abandoned being a police officer to go and become an alleged robber. How do you look at that situation altogether?
It's basically it's a very sad scenario, Zipporah, because these are the people that we trust should protect us. These are police officers, the men and women in uniform. We always look up to say, okay, you know what, I have this problem, I should go to these institutions, these relevant institutions to help me. But if you find certain individuals within their camp, their institution, behaving like that, it becomes a worrisome, situation. How should a police officer? But anyway, right now is a suspended officer, according to the information our reporter got Patrick on the grounds, that he's a suspended officer.
And why was he suspended? The same robbers?
I really don't know. I hope the police can, issue a more comprehensive statement to give full details on why he was suspended and stuff like that. But anyway, he's a suspect currently, and we hope and see where this case will go when officers are done with their, relevant investigations. But it's a very sad situation, Zipporah. I must mention that, as an officer, people trusted you in the area, and then you now go and start, stealing.
And the thing is, he knows all the tricks. For example,
exactly.
How to break into a house.
Exactly.
Because they know.
And other people were now connecting this scenario. A week ago, we heard the former president's Edgar Lungu's house being broken in by thieves and stealing 2 TV sets, And then we have recently, shortly, we have this now again. It leaves a lot of question marks. But anyway, let's just get to look at that story and see more. Yeah.
Earlier this month, Zambians were treated to an unusual episode where thieves broke into the residence of the former head of state, President Edgar Lungu. Surprisingly, the criminals targeted to steal flat-screen televisions. However, such robberies have been happening in various localities, and in Lusaka's Lilai Estate area, the suspected thief has been identified as Joshua Banda, who, according to the residents, he is a police officer who has been on suspension. They never suspected him, as he is well known in this community, and he is also a son of a pastor who used to live within Lilai Estate. 12 August 2022, he was shot on the leg during his routine house-breaking activities by tampering with windows and doors of his targets. They say some people with the duty to protect lives and property are becoming perpetrators. Almost everyone in this neighborhood is a victim, and the recent one lamented that she was aware when Joshua Banda personalized her house, taking with him a television and other variables.
All those things were in my bedroom. Kuvipa is a vault. My TV is a cave. Delay, I could even travel outside the country. I would go 3 months. I would find the house intact. It was a block of flats. My heart even. And they leave the decoder. And it's like they were spending nights here. I found the chitu that they were using. Even his jackets. Window. That's their tactic. They will either kick on the wall or knock on the window.
Boom. And then they wait.
Residents who opted not to be on camera tell this journalist that Joshua and his gang have been giving them sleepless nights, and they have resorted to night patrols. They say the suspect has been conducting criminal activities with impunity because he is well connected.
We've suffered. It's every night from midnight to 04:30, somewhere around about that time. You know, we are suffering in our own homes. So we want immediate action. The culprit should be brought to book. A well-known guy, former resident, I think, of this place, telling the police officer who was guarding him, he was swearing, using all sorts of bad languages, calling her a prostitute, that I won't spend time in the cells because my parents are well connected. And we've gathered information that he was in the cells, I think, about 30 days, for 30 days. Is it last month or a few months ago? And he was released. So how safe are we? If this person claims he's well connected, he can be arrested and released.
They are calling on the Zambia police to help beef up security in the area. Meanwhile, Zambia police spokesperson Ray Amonga confirmed the development to Camnet TV News that the suspect is a deserter from the Zambia Police Service. At CHILANGA Level 1 Hospital, our efforts to get hold of the suspect could not materialize, as we were informed that he was moved to the University Teaching Hospital, when in fact not.
Dealing with someone who is so serious and is there to traumatize us, is there to rob us of the things that we've worked hard for. And what they should do now is that this culprit should be brought to book, because it's like he has got connections. And for your information, that this person is been raised in the house of a pastor. So he's even boasting to say that no, his dad has got more connections. So we want the law to take its course.
Earlier this month, Zambians were treated to an unusual episode where thieves broke into the residence of the former head of state, President Edgar Lungu. Surprisingly, the criminals targeted to steal flat-screen televisions. However, such robberies have been happening in various localities, and in Lusaka's Lilai Estate area, the suspected thief has been identified as Joshua Banda, who, according to the residents, he is a police officer who has been on suspension. They never suspected him, as he is well known in this community, and he is also a son of a pastor who used to live within Lilai Estate. 12 August 2022, he was shot on the leg during his routine house-breaking activities by tampering with windows and doors of his targets. They say some people with the duty to protect lives and property are becoming perpetrators. Almost everyone in this neighborhood is a victim, and the recent one lamented that she was aware when Joshua Banda personalized her house, taking with him a television and other variables.
All those things were in my bedroom. My TV is a cave. I could even travel outside the country. I would go 3 months. I would find the house intact. It was a block of flats. My heart even. And they leave the decoder. And it's like they were spending nights here. I found the chitu that they were using. Even his jackets. Window. That's their tactic. They will either kick on the wall or knock on the window.
Boom. And then they wait.
Residents who opted not to be on camera tell this journalist that Joshua and his gang have been giving them sleepless nights, and they have resorted to night patrols. They say the suspect has been conducting criminal activities with impunity because he is well connected.
We've suffered. It's every night from midnight to 04:30, somewhere around about that time. You know, we are suffering in our own homes. So we want immediate action. The culprit should be brought to book. A well-known guy, a former resident, I think, of this place, telling the police officer who was guarding him, he was swearing, using all sorts of bad languages, calling her a prostitute, that I won't spend time in the cells because my parents are well connected. And we've gathered information that he was in the cells, I think, about 30 days, for 30 days. Is it last month or a few months ago? And he was released. So how safe are we? If this person claims he's well connected, he can be arrested and released.
They are calling on the Zambia police to help beef up security in the area. Meanwhile, Zambia police spokesperson Ray Amonga confirmed the development to Camnet TV News that the suspect is a deserter from the Zambia Police Service. At CHILANGA Level 1 Hospital, our efforts to get hold of the suspect could not materialize, as we were informed that he was moved to the University Teaching Hospital, when in fact not.
Dealing with someone who is so serious and is there to traumatize us, is there to rob us of the things that we've worked hard for. And what they should do now is that this culprit should be brought to book, because it's like he has got connections. And for your information, that this person is been raised in the house of a pastor. So he's even boasting to say that no, his dad has got more connections. So we want the law to take its course. This person actually should be arrested as quickly as he can, because he has even formed a group. The police post is very far from here. It's actually, we are dealing with, is it Benny? Godfrey and police post. So you see that even here, there's need of us having a police post nearby, because this area is actually growing.
Patrick Soko, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Welcome back. That's a very, very interesting and quite sad scenario and story out there done by one of our colleagues, Patrick Soko. I would like also to apologize for the short interruption that we earlier experienced. This was due to some technical issues. But anyway, we are here back to give you nothing but the best. Zipporah, so that story, it was done by one of our colleagues, Patrick Soko, and those criminal activities are said to be, rampant in Lilai Estate. And, quite interesting, Lilai Estate, if you should know for your own information, Lilai Estate is very well known for residents, being that it's very occupied by people or police officers. And now here is another fellow police officer, you know, breaking into their houses. And of course, they have other people who are not officers, civilians. But anyway, the majority of people living in Lilai officers. But then here is a situation where you now have someone, a former suspended officer, you know, breaking into the houses of individuals and stealing. According to the information given out there by the people, is that these criminals, alleged criminals, are targeting television set. And then recently you know, we saw the same, yeah, from the head of state. So people are connecting the two. Are they the ones?
Are they related? Is it a related case? And
yeah.
You know, ma'am, these criminals really scare me. For example, in fact, is it the same incident where there is that man? Oh, he's the same person who was shot. Whereby at 03 you break into someone's house using like the kitchen window and all that. So like what happens, for example, when they get into the house? If you have that encounter with them, what happens? They can end up killing you, isn't it?
Exactly. And you
so
know,
they actually should, I think they should not just be charged for attempted theft, even attempted murder.
Attempted murder, yeah, exactly.
Yes, because if they are to meet you in the house, what happens? They're going to knife you, they're going to do anything just to...
that's why most of the time, Zipporah, when you find yourself in such a scenario, a lot of people, especially who are involved in such criminal activities, will be charged with aggravated robbery by the police. And you know, aggravated robbery, it's a non-bailable offense. So meaning until the court is done hearing your case, that's when you can be set at liberty. That is if you're not found with a case to answer. But if you're found with a case to answer, then you get as minimum has maximum has 15 years imprisonment or beyond. You know,
I think that's just right.
Yes, because there are a lot of activities that can happen.
They end up killing you.
They can kill you, exactly.
If you rape people.
And if you're a female, you're sleeping alone, like what we saw from the Levi Mwanawasa students.
Even in Shawama, where a 27-year-old woman was actually raped and all her property stolen. But in that case, recently, the good news is that the neighborhood watch actually apprehended the whole group of criminals. And that again brings us to the issue of neighborhood watches. Miriam, we've seen, for example, there's some areas like Kamala Ward 5 who have heard that they actually have a very good neighborhood watch. So I think we should be interviewing the councillor there soon.
Exactly.
Find out how have they done that neighborhood watch, and maybe others can emulate.
Exactly, and this is what...
And should these people be given guns? That's another issue together. But I hear that one is well equipped in terms of weapons and all that.
Yeah, it's a very, very good move, and this will at least help keep, you know, the residents at peace, and just knowing that, you know, I'm safe. I won't have any time criminals breaking into my home and, you know, trying to, you know, do all those criminal activities and other stuff. But the sad part of it all is that the young man involved is only 26 years old. But anyway, he's a suspect now until police are done with investigations and see how the case unfolds. Exactly. So right about now, we'll go direct into our next story. A very, very sad story, Zipporah, of he's now 3, a young boy who stays in Karikiriki compound. He was born without an anus. So yeah, so the doctors had to utilize, you know, use a small temporal measure where they had to, you know, make an opening on his right side of the stomach so that he can have access just to pass waste. Yeah, so according to the mother, she was saying when he was born, they did that surgery, but now we're told he needs another surgery. Unfortunately, since March, we haven't been attended to by the doctors. So she was complaining about the delayment of her son's treatment and also other situations, you know, that she's going through. She is unemployed. The husband is also not working, you know, and finding means and ways on how to take care of son and other children is very hard. So let's get to see what that story is all about, and we'll get to be discussing more about this. Looking up his handsome little face, filled with life, hope and innocence, you may think his health as most children his age should be. But baby Teddy Mwanza has been suffering since birth after his mother discovered that he was born with an imperforate anus, a birth defect that happens as an unborn baby is developing during pregnancy, meaning one has an improper developed anus and therefore cannot pass waste normally from their rectum out of their body. Surgery was done on little Teddy 3 weeks after his birth, according to his mother.
So kuja ku UTH vanabwera vakamba kuti uyu mwana afunika kumufaka colostome, afunika kumupanga colostome. So nje pamene vanabwera vamuchosa matumbo pamala, nje pamene anabwambo chitira toilet, anabadwa so chabe senzo chita toilet. So manje pamala nje pe amapulumukira.
He is just 3 years old and continues to suffer more than most people can understand. Doctors made an opening on Teddy's stomach to enable him pass waste. The measure was a temporary one done. The 3-year-old has no control over his bowel movement, hence the reason his mother constantly keeps his opening covered with a piece of cloth. The distressed mother wonders why her son's next surgery has delayed, adding that she was informed in March 2022 by doctors at the University Teaching Hospital that she'll be called for her son's next treatment. But till now,
penze pa 22 March vanakamba nzaka kutumirani phone kuti mumulete mwana kaili apali pa number 6 tizakabwera mukonza. So ine ninabwana bafunsa ba doctor nati so uyu mwana appointment yapaka maningi nishi ingakwanisike kuchitiwa kumuku kuti akankhale bwino operation ingakwanisike, vanakamba kuti ingakwanisike. So uyu mwana kuchokera pa 22 March ufika pa na manje sibatitumira phone ku hospital.
And in a phone interview, UTH Public Relations Officer Natalie Mashikolo says the mother should go to Children's Hospital on Monday and see how best she can be assisted. Meanwhile, a medical doctor, Teddy Mulinga, explains the condition.
If the child has been left for this long, it means the connection to the anus could probably, a large portion is absent. So that is a little bit delicate. That's why they have to create a totally different route, because maybe a large part of the intestines that goes down there is not there. That's why the child could have been kept so long. Because all the children that are born like that are operated within 2 weeks. 1 week, 2 weeks, they always operate.
While advocates for child justice calls for urgent medical attention for little Teddy.
Access to health services is a right for children, and it's enshrined in different pieces of legislation, including the UNCRC that Zambia has ratified. So it is very important that we observe that as a government, and also institutions that are charged to make sure that children access health services. So for those that actually are delaying access to health for children, they are actually violating the rights of children.
Teddy's mother, who is unemployed and has 3 more children and lives in Lusaka's Kalikiliki compound, is hoping kind-hearted members of the public will step in and help save and change her son's life.
Nipe mpako baboma kuti vanitandizeko kuti nizikwanisako kugulako vamene vifunikira kudya mwana, madaipa, vaseline yomuzola pa chilonda sifunika ishota.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
A sad story there, and the hope that the boy actually gets the necessary help. And the good part is that he's still young, and so I'm sure that changes should not be so hard to make. Yes, definitely do hope.
And we saw when we conducted, UTH spokesperson did say that the woman should go to the children's hospital, meaning today, and see how best she can be assisted, and just not wait until she can be called, so that necessary treatment is taken upon the child to ensure that he gets better in time. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And Miriam, just before we jump into our next topic, last on our Zooming the Headlines, we have a story of kidnap, and really there's needs for people to enhance sensitization on these issues that happen. So I have this story from Kanyama compound where we went on Saturday, where this woman was complaining or saying her son was kidnapped for like 5 days. So according to the mother, she says someone called us saying, we want your son to feature in a music video. We're making a music video, we need your son to feature in the music video. And he was a 6-year-old boy, a 6-year-old boy. And so she was like, but what exactly drew me? No, we want to make a family setup, like the music video contains like family setup, so we need a child to complete the picture. And of course, we're going to pay you for the part where your child will actually act, in the music video. And so she says she called one of her friends. In fact, that person says she knows one of her friends. And so it was because of that she actually gained that trust. She says she went to the same two people, the two men and the same lady. They went to one of the buildings here in Lusaka, because I'm sure if you mention the name, it will be just one of these buildings. Yes, so they went there, and it's actually like those buildings where there are many stairs. And so they're like, okay, I'm waiting for our manager. And so I was waiting for our manager, like, let me go and buy food for a child. I'm sure he's hungry. So the man went downstairs with the child, and that's how he disappeared. Wow. So, and they had to actually get, they only managed to get that child after they paid 3,000 kwacha ransom to the same kidnappers. So they're saying they reported the matter to the Central Police on Sunday. That happened on Sunday, and they got the child on Friday after they paid 3,000 kwacha ransom. Wow. So they were saying the kidnapper was actually demanding 5,000, but they said they don't have.
And you know, talking about kidnapping, and then it comes to, you know, here in Zambia, you know, it sounds so weird. Exactly. You know, we only see this in movies where someone has been kidnapped, and then, you know, kidnappers are demanding for a ransom pay amount of money and stuff like that. But, you know, looking at the fact that it's really occurred, and, you know, this is...
And they actually paid the man.
Wow. Did the woman report to the police?
She was saying the very day they're saying they reported Central Police, and according to them, they were told that if you manage, according to them, they alleged that they were told by the police, stating that we will trace the person, but you also make your own efforts in case you spot that person or know where he is. Just give us a heads up, come and arrest him. But then for them, they were offended by that. They feel like they're not doing enough to help them.
Exactly. How would police officers say, make your efforts? Does that mean that if I find the money, I should go ahead and pay the kidnappers? So
they're saying locate them. When you locate them, you let us know. But then, so in fact, one of our friends, Izano, actually was saying that they actually received a phone call from the same kidnapper saying, I'm tired of keeping your child. So you give me my money, come and get your child in 15 miles. And I'm watching you. I'm watching you, make sure you come only ladies. So they said they went there. I think there were about 3 or 4 ladies. They're saying, don't come with any man. If you come with any man, you see what will happen to your child. And the man was actually tracing them, because you were saying switch off your phones and all that. But then when they reached there, I don't know how he managed to communicate with them, but you're saying there's this phone which ends with 16 at the end. You're busy texting someone, stop that, and all those things. So I was able to see what they were doing.
Interesting.
So let's take a look at that story, the kidnap story. I'm going to be back. This is a family of Kanyama compound in Lusaka who have parted ways with 3,000 kwacha in exchange for their 6-year-old son. This family on Sunday, 7th August 2022, fell prey to 2 people who asked mother of the child, Otilia Ndulumena, for her 6-year-old son to appear in a music video which was to be recorded in one of the buildings in the city's central business district. The mother of the child, however, narrates that it was on the same day on Sunday when she agreed for her child to be featured, only for one of the men to disappear with the child in the name of buying him food and never to be seen again. She has narrated the incident to Camnet News.
So guys no boka but kuli papati penango pamene panga funike ko mwana. Papati panga funike ko mwana ti ndemwene anabwa ujamgeuza funsa manje pate mwana azatazechani ati aidzapanga mungati ni family vija ni munyumba. Ndemwana bwa kambira ta munipase nkoni na mwana nimugulireko vakudya pansi apa pamechembekeza va manager nimugulireko vakudya pansi apa ndimo mnana shitana release futi mwana amupasa anaona papita good 15 minutes ndimo amene anabwa pempera phone atuma uja mnyamata nayanka basista anabwera pang'ono chabe pamene apa okay ankala futi aona futi papita time nepana bwatumira phone manje kunyumba.
Meanwhile, one of her friends, Rachel Banda, alleges that no help was rendered to them by the police, despite the matter being formally reported to Lusaka Central Police on the material day. She explains that this forced the family to enter into negotiations with the alleged kidnapper, who later dumped the child by the roadside after being given 3,000 kwacha Friday, 12th August 2022.
Petina tuma anasitumina phone actually wamene wa kidnap pa Friday ma 7 hours bamtenge mwana wanu 15 hours tizamtenga bwanji ati nipase ndrama nifuna uja mtu nzofuna 5,000 after 5,000 ija abata kambasa tribe 5,000 so uja mtu nampasa 3,000 ija bwana mumtenge mwana ndimo ntina endea 15 hours tenzo chita communicate na eve wao timu tracer na eve ati tracer so petina fika pa 15 hours abwati wona ndi mama girls ani kuona mbwela bangati batatu nsinifuna muntu inango nsinifuna mwamuna nemwe ntina endera ise kuliba police aliyensa natandiza elo chinati baba manengi ntakutija issue pa central police then ma central no action ili yonse ba central aziuza isatika zimu tracer then mukasta find out era mkwane ali location mutiuza tibweti kuperekezeni tizabatenga kuti batiperekeze kuti for what reason bebe bali kuti because the case tinaipeleka very dear mene yo day inashtika pa Sunday but no action ili yonse bakaenda kuja ma issues za mbekezani tizamtrace mbekezani bazikto station but isa tibena bazikta but nakwanza ja mtu kumtrace maona.
Grandmother of the child Jennifer Ndulumena has also added her voice on the matter.
Trucha bema pempero so ni pempa kuli bantu bonse mukapezeka ma problems ya so fesi myambe muyangane kuli mulungu apitira mu bantu.
Meanwhile, a clergyman, Apostle Felician Mulumba, who was praying with the family during the tragedy, has a message for parents.
Ninga uzeko nene wazimai na watate aliyenze chai na mwana so makidnappers wasta kidnap chebana wangono beka na wakulu futi wasta kidnap ngaleshevo chenjela futi na government yatu futi wafakileko mzeri kunkani ya security so security ilipo wati muntu sunga kwanse vonse vinango munga nkani yaso ima chenjeza futi boma kuti wataeleko mzeri kuti wana abantu wamene waso waendela tu.
Camnet News has also reached out to the Zambia Police Public Relations Unit as the family feel that the police could have done better in helping them locate their child. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. Quite interesting story there. And
you know, it reminds me of a certain story that we did from the courts where a maid in Lusaka was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment with her husband. I believe is her husband. This maid, Zipporah, did kidnap her boss's children, her employer's children. You know, because she said, no, they were mistreating me and I wanted, you know, more money and stuff like that. So she kidnapped these 2 children. And then later on, after she was traced and arrested by the police, she was actually sentenced to 5 years imprisonment.
Only for kidnap, only.
And she's now still in prison, serving that sentence.
And at least she did get arrested. Anyway, so that's just for parents out there.
And I hope that guy can be traced as well.
Because even though he gave them the child, you do that time and just the fact that she got money, you be like, so I can
always be getting and doing the same thing over and over again, and people will not, you know, caught me. So this he needs to be traced and arrested, and this calls for law enforcement agency to act upon this issue. Just because the child has been found doesn't mean that you should sit back and relax and stop looking for this person or trying to trace him. This person needs to be arrested because he would do this to another victim, and it can be worse. Imagine if it was a girl child, and then we are talking about defilement and stuff like that. Exactly. So all these things, you know, come into play.
Yes, definitely. And just now we jump into our main topic for today, where we're analyzing whether the living standards of ordinary Zambians have improved under the 1-year period in which the current administration has been in office. So have communities out there benefited? And so we're going to be joined by 2 members of parliament for Chilanga and KATOMBORA constituency to just help us discuss whether they feel that the current administration is actually working towards improving the lives of citizens. So they're going to give us examples of what is happening in the constituency. So you can leave us messages on Facebook and just let us know what your views are, because today we're not going to have phone calls. We'll just take a short break. Do join us shortly after this break.
Are you a business organization or an individual with a dream to register your presence in Zambia and around the world? Waste no time, because Camnet Television is offering an opportunity to sponsor any of the following programs. The main news, national matters, breakfast show, the verdict, partnership of greatness, economic briefcase, business and sports news. For more details, call the following numbers. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
On Monday, 15th August 2022 on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chilua with his guest, Mr. Sean Tembo, PEP President.
You should only help people who need to be helped. That way, you'll be properly utilizing, scarce national resources. So if I was the one running the affairs of this country, yes, I would still pursue the same policy of, universal education, free education, but the way I would implement it is that, I'll come up with a comprehensive social welfare system.
I'm your pastor and, of course, host.
As they discuss developing Zambia as Zambians.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
So welcome back to the program. We are discussing whether the living standards of ordinary Zambians have improved under the 1 year in which the UPND has been in office since August 2021. And in studio we have Chilanga Member of Parliament, Mr. SIPHO, HLAZO, and KATOMBORA Member of Parliament, Mr. Clement ANDELEKI, to just help us break down the topic in regards to what is happening in the constituencies. Are the ordinary citizens benefiting? Honorables, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. How is your morning so far?
Fine, thank you. How are you doing? Thank you. And we thank you for coming us to the studio.
We are glad to have you on set.
Thank you.
It's just a reminder to our viewers that we don't have phone calls today, but you can actually leave us a message on Facebook and just let us know what your views are of the current administration. Are ordinary Zambians benefiting from the current administration? And so, Honorable, maybe just to begin with you, in Chilanga constituency, for example, what changes have you brought under this 1 year of UPND?
Thank you very much. I mean, as we all know, that now there's been change, especially in the increase of the CDF.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we found a big mess by the previous government, but things are now changing. The people have got a lot of hope now, with the new UPND government in power. We can see that we've got the free education now. We've got a number of the young people who have gone to school now. Mm-hmm. We've seen the issue of the skills development in my constituency. Actually, we've actually sponsored slightly over 100 for the skills training, 100 young people. Then we are just waiting for the loans, to distribute the loans. We were working with the grants. Just as of last week, we actually sat to approve a number of projects and a number. So you see there's a lot of opportunity now for the people out there. So it is now up to the people themselves to, you know, take advantage for these same CDF things, and then so they can benefit. Yes, madam.
Coming to you, Mr. Andeleki, Honorable Andeleki, we know that KATOMBORA constituency is not only amongst Zambia's biggest constituency in the landmass, it is also among the poorest. So, given the fact that UPND has been in power, the UPND administration has been in power for 1 year, and you as an MP has been there for a year, what are some of the, some of the development that you have been able to bring to your constituency there to also address the issues of some of the challenges that different vulnerable people are facing?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. You see, when we took over government last year, this is getting to 1 year now, we found very serious difficulties, particularly in KATOMBORA constituency. When you talk of KATOMBORA constituency, you are talking of a farming zone. Our main source of livelihood is farming. We are typically people who produce the food that we supply into urban areas. So what we didn't have at the road network, with challenges of poverty, education, children dropping out, early marriages, children get married when they are 11 years old. You saw very recently the footage that was there, 11-year-old girl in Kazunga gave birth, and all these funny things been going on. What we have done at the moment was our biggest enemy has been poverty in KATOMBORA constituency, and to try and overcome the difficulties of poverty. You can only fight poverty if you put both long-term measures and short-term. In the long-term measures, education, the rolling out of free education by the Zambian government has really been a very serious boost to my people. Very recently, through CDF, we've been opening schools, and we've been hearing them have donated this money to boost up on this, to boost up on this. Literally, we are thankful to the free education policy. In the long term, we see that as a very serious boost. Empowerment through the CDF, we thank the government for increasing the CDF. We have rolled out the first loans to our people, and we still want to appeal to our people in KATOMBORA constituency and the country at large to take advantage of the loans. Those that are business-minded, we can't all be employed by the government. It's not possible. There are loans that we are giving. 200,000 kwacha is the maximum amount of the loan. 50,000, less than 50,000 is a grant. So people can get that money and invest that money. And so far we have rolled out the first loans to our people that are applied. And we are encouraging them to continue applying to the loans scheme, to the grant scheme, and we have also rolled out right now issues to do with not only the empowerment to our women, not only the empowerment to the young people. So in terms of the boost, we are also opening up the roads. The Nyawa road is under construction as I'm speaking to you. We have asked the people who are close to the road, we are expanding. It's making a zero from Zimba, it's making a ton. Now, road network to the people in rural areas is very, very important because they have to ferry their products. So that is being done. The Senkobo to Ngwezi road is also going to be rolled out. The Zimba road is going to be sponsored by the World Bank. It's been sponsored by the World Bank. We thank the World Bank, we thank the government for the collaboration. The government to government is being done through the Senkobo road. Ngwezi going through, and we have directed the CDF funds as priority on acquisition of equipment to open up the rural area so that our people can move whatever products they produce, and this boost that the government has given us on CDF will do a lot of wonders because we'll be able to open up the road network, we'll be able to build schools using our own equipment. We don't need to go and hire from outside Zambia or what. This is our own equipment. So that is a very serious developmental boost to our people, and we are indebted to the government.
And talking about you did mention about the free education policy. There have been some claims that this free education policy is a mockery if it does not address the pupil-teacher ratio. We did see where other people are saying the schools are dilapidated, especially there are no schools in these districts and rural parts of Zambia, and you'll find one teacher per, 200 pupils. So this becomes a mockery. How are they going to, help, address this issue? What's your view on that? And also, not forgetting, teachers who intend to, leave these rural parts of the country if they're being deployed by government because of the poor living conditions there, talking about their teachers' houses there.
You see, people can politic. Politics is politics. We are politicians. People can politic to try and denounce what government is doing. I'll tell you that the government has done what is so unprecedented. Recruitment of over 30,000 teachers within less than a year. Who does that? Which government has ever done that? The government of Dr. Kaunda, 27 years in power, only managed to recruit about 28,000 teachers in the 27 years. Look at PF. They recruited about 7,000 teachers in 10 years. Look at the UPND government, what we are doing. People can rhetoric. People can say this, can say that. But those are politics. Let's give credit where it's due. The pupil ratio has been addressed. And the government in the less than 1 year has already done the wonders. Has given the money, has given the CDF. Right now in KATOMBORA, we are given by government 630,000 to sponsor 630 children back to boarding secondary schools. Isn't that a boost? Now we're talking about people, the government has just recruited teachers, so that is the write-off, it's no longer the issue. Of course, we still have two problems, like the desks, and that's what the CDF is doing. That's why we have that money. We are procuring the desks, we are procuring whatever is needed to address that particular situation. So we're on the right trajectory, and we thank the government for that.
Honorable Member for Chilanga, your comment on that free education?
Yes, I mean, like Honorable ANDELEKI has rightly put it, we've seen the increase, the recruitment of over 30,000 teachers. Not only that, if you see, I believe in, if not all our respective constituencies, we've actually allocated in funds from the CDF in terms of the capital projects for infrastructure, in terms of the classrooms. And we're increasing, like in my constituency, we're increasing on the 1x3 classroom blocks, we are buying more school desks. So this is actually going to, create space for more children and for the teachers also, because even the housing for the teachers, we're actually going to build more houses. If you come to Chilanga, you see, we only have one boarding school, which is Mwembeshi boarding school. But now we are going to complete the Lusaka West boarding school, which is in the L85 camp of Apollo, which is going to have about more than 1,800 students. So we're working on that. In the next few weeks, we're going to purchase the desks purchased and the banker beds also. But not only that, I'll tell you something which is about my constituency, Chilanga. Chilanga is a very urban constituency. And we have a number of these big industries, the companies in there, and we have actually approached them and we'll be partners in development. They are going to help us, and we're going to see a lot of corporate social responsibility in the constituency, and most of them are going to come on board in terms of helping out with the schools and helping out so that we can have better education for our young people in the constituency.
And talking of Chilanga, Honorable, we have, for example, Chilanga is one of the biggest constituencies with about 12 wards.
Exactly.
And just last week we were there doing a story where some cooperatives were complaining that they received only as little as 5,000 kwacha due to the vastness of the constituency. Would you be of the view that maybe some of these constituencies should be delimitated if CDF is to actually have that impact?
Yes. Like you rightly put it, it's actually good that we're undergoing the exercise of the census at the moment, because this is going to give the whole country information on how, even in terms of allocation of CDF. I don't believe each and every constituency should be allocated the same amount. Look at some constituencies are vast. Look at my constituency has got 12 wards. The population there is not less than 150,000 people. But then you go to other constituencies, as we speak, Chilanga has got over 420 registered cooperatives at the moment. So people have been trying to compare and say, why are we giving, that little, allocating so little funds towards these cooperatives? when you find other constituencies, like rural constituencies, have allocated 40,000. But you see, you find, let me give you an example, like CHILANGA ward. CHILANGA ward had in excess of over 40 applications. And you see in the guidelines, it states that people can apply for up to 40,000 kwacha. You know, so people were not properly guided. So most of them, if not all the cooperatives, have applied for the 40,000. So how do you distribute just slightly over 650,000 to more than 200 applicants who have applied for the 40,000? So this is where the complaint is coming from amongst the people. And as of last week, Friday, we actually sat where the CDF sitting. And we want to just go back, because what we have decided is to go back and call all these cooperatives. Because one of the things we actually want to do is to call each and every cooperative. We want to see all the members of those cooperatives, because you see what is also happening is that you find there are some people who are just using people's details, their NRCs, and they don't even know that they have been put on some applications to receive funding under the grants. So we want to meet everybody and know, because we find one person is got about more than even 5 cooperatives.
And they're receiving funding.
And they want to receive funding on all those cooperatives, which will be unfair for everybody. I mean, these grants should be of benefit for everyone in the constituency. You know, there should be equal opportunity for everyone to have access to these funds.
But what are some of the measures that you have put in place just to ensure that, you know, it's not one and the same person applying for these cooperatives?
This is why we've said we are now carrying out an exercise where we are working in hand in hand with the councillors and the WDCs, and we are going out into each and every ward, and we are calling all the cooperatives to have meetings with them, to meet all the cooperatives and all their members. This is exactly what we are going to do.
And we hope it to actually yield results. And coming to you, Honorable Andeleki, we have, for example, ward development committees. Of course, CDF is a good initiative, but without WDCs being empowered, do you feel this concept of CDF will actually work? Given that they have been complaining that despite it being constituted, that 5% is for them, they're not receiving anything. For example, let's say when it comes to issues of talk time, transportation, they have to use their own funds. So if WDCs are not empowered, do you feel that the UPND CDF initiative of developing communities will actually come to work?
Yeah, it's the major issue about what is happening. The WDCs are the people themselves. The local people themselves have agreed as to how they are going to manage their developmental agenda on their doorsteps, and they have chosen people. And on the administration fund that has been given to the people managing the CDF, the people that are under the WDCs are well catered for and they are well taken care of. I can't speak for my constituency. I can't speak for my constituency that they are working very, very well. I've not heard any such a complaint that they are not being assisted on this and not being assisted. I've not gotten that particular complaint. But currently, those people have undergone training as to their mandate, as to how they should pick projects, how they should submit the projects, as to what is priority number 1 in that area, what is priority number 2, and all this and that. So far, from our perspective, I think it's working well. Maybe
in KATOMBORA, maybe back to Honorable from Chilanga, because last week we had a WDC from Chilanga who actually was saying that in 2 or 3 years time from now, in 2 or 3 years time from now, if the WDCs are not empowered, maybe this WDC project will fail because there will only remain chairmen alone. So maybe how do you feel these people can be better motivated?
Okay, you see, it's as we all know, these guidelines were launched early in the year, and these guidelines, the CDF guidelines, are not cast in concrete. You see, we are going to see a number of amendments towards it, because as you saw in the guidelines, it clearly states that 5% should be allocated towards the CDF. Not talk about the WDCs, but I'm sure along the way in the amendments we are going to see them, the WDCs also being catered for. That's what
Yes, definitely. And so, Honorable Andeleki, for example, there have been some concerns from people stating that the UPND may not actually achieve what it wants to achieve within the 5 years, alleging that they're moving at a slow pace. For example, we want to have, is it 4 or maybe 3 years and some months remaining? Maybe let's just say 4 years.
4 years remaining.
And so maybe given that this was the first time that we're actually seeing an increase, in CDF? Maybe from your observations in your constituency, how best can we improve the issue of CDF to make sure that within these 5 years, it at least improves the lives of Zambians?
Thank you very much. CDF currently is working very well. It's rolling out very well. Like I said, there will always be two thing programs. You see, CDF money are meant for the people themselves. They must decide. The policy of the UPND and this government has said, let the people decide what they want. Okay, the two thing problem that we do have is that the CDF, for example, the WDC will submit that we want a school here. The councillor will say, no, I want the hospital to be the first priority. So we do have those two thing challenges. But what I can tell you is that currently, the UPND is going to achieve 100% of its targets. Why? Within 5 years. Yes, within 5 years. Because most of the things, look at already the control measures that the president has put. We're able to save 2 billion kwacha just within these restricting movements, cost-saving measures. Look at the inflation. When we took over government, dollar was at 24, today is at 15. It may be at 1 to 1 or it will be greater than $1 by the time we are 5 years. If every measure continues to be tightened, the stealing or pilfering of public funds stops, including CDF. People want CDF to be dispersed like you're buying rape at the market. That is government money. That is government money. Like one of the colleagues is saying, it should go. Can you imagine if we just started distributing the way Tanzania was doing on the coast?
But they are complaining that the process is very slow.
It has to go. There's a law. You know, that's not people's money. You can't just ask people to stand up and these are projects coming. I have 16 words. You get the point? We receive these documents. These same people you have put, it's possible that they can put their relatives. It has to go through the screening mechanism by the CDF committee. From there, this is government money. It has to go to Lusaka. If it's a contract to be provided, there's an attorney general who has to sign. There's the Zambia Public Procurement Act, which requires that particular thresholds exceed the mandate of the council. These are public funds. They are laws. You're not going to administer monies just to speed up a process and short-circuit processes, because it will be amenable to abuse. You get the point? Otherwise, I'll just pick my people and say, you are my cadres that you are supporting me, you are giving a contract for the road, you are building a hospital. These measures that have been put in place are specifically here to ensure a transparent and a fair manner in the distribution of these public funds. So the government is working on measures to speed up the process, but taking into consideration that the processes of the law must be adhered to, because that is people's money. Not UPND money, it's people's money. You get the point. The people must decide and get the projects done, those which projects people have chosen. So that's people's money.
Coming to you, Honorable Member for Chilanga, do you think the UPND administration overpromised the people of Zambia? Nowadays, people are complaining that there's, the cost of living is very high. People are not able to meet their daily needs. Do you think they expected the government, to work within this period of 1 year and change a lot of things, or did the UPND administration overpromise the people of Zambia beyond that when they come into power, they will do this and that?
Okay, thank you very much. I can assure the people of Zambia that the UPND government is going to deliver 100% in this mandate that it will do now for 2026. You see, it is not magic. Governance is not magic. Like I mentioned earlier, that we found, a mess. But you look at the exchange rate today. Exchange rate, the dollar is coming down, which means now, the inflation also is coming down, which means now there is stability in prices. Not only that, you see that the people were used to. You see, the previous regime, I can simply say, almost spoiled the people of Zambia by giving them the free handouts. There is no such thing as free, things. You need to work. For you to have something, you need to work for it. For you to have money, you should be able to work for it. You can see now that there is also investor confidence. We can see how the president has been traveling. I mean, he's working extra hard to see that there is benefit. You see, I can tell you that come next year, this time, we can come here for an interview. And you are going to see, people are going to be happy out there. There is direction. The direction is there clearly for everybody to see. And the results, we are going to start reaping now. People are going to start reaping. We can see from all this employment of the teachers and all, which means more people are now going to be general. More families are going to be getting more income and all. But the government also is in support, you see, of the private sector. They want to go out there, which means it is not only going to be government that is, going to be employ people, but even the private sector. This is what people need to understand. So this is what we are going to see in the next few months coming up. That you see, this is a serious government that we have in place. We have a serious president, we've got a serious executive, and all the members. People are working tirelessly to make sure that the people of Zambia, this time around, let the people of Zambia get what is due to them. Let them benefit from the resources of this country.
And for those out there, in case you're just joining us, we are discussing on whether ordinary Zambians have benefited within the 1 year period in which the UPND has been in office. Like we indicated earlier, today we do not have phone calls, but you can actually just leave us a message on Facebook and contribute. And speaking of that, we actually do have a message from one of our viewers here on Facebook, Mr. Paul Kulia, who says, so far so good, the country is improving, only that the damage caused by the previous regime was deep. I don't know your response to that, Honorable Andeleki.
Yes, indeed. The damage that was caused, the levels of stealing, pilfering of public funds was so unprecedented in the previous government. It's something really, never in the history of this country have we seen the levels of stealing of public funds and in the previous government. Most of the monies ended up in people's pockets. See the former ministers, in the previous government. See the type of lives they are living. A person who held just a small position, we saw them working in gumboots like ourselves with the Eurostop. They are now having gates which can open using a watch. Look at the type of life that these people were living. Look at the current president. Right now has not gotten his pay. And we've done, some of us as members have even done the same as well. Say, this money must grow and help the poor people out there, if possible. This is a government really that is trying by us. Free. Once education is free, what more do you want? Health, we are busy putting up structures. Like in KATOMBORA right now, there are first level hospitals being constructed. What more can people ask for? Electricity, we are running out of electricity everywhere. Okay? But look, the previous government was like, oh, we've done a lot, it's development. Look at the roads the way they are. Very inflated contracts. Highly inflated contracts. Just to put a toll gate, $2 billion. My question is at a toll gate. $2 billion. Just a small thing. So the levels of stealing was so unprecedented. And in this government, we, I'm chairperson for legal at the National Assembly, we are advocating that even stealing public funds must be made a very serious offense. Corruption must be none there. It should be treated as a menace that should never be tolerated. Stealing drugs in hospitals should be treated as a capital offense. And these are issues we are demanding. People must fear public funds. That is people's money. Because if you are going to allow what was happening in the previous government, ourselves, the people who represent you, we must be audited. We must be seen to live modest lives. We can't have people, just less than 5 years, the man is saying 1 million is change. 1 million kwacha is change. How can 1 million kwacha be changed? You can see the level of impunity. People sleeping on money, people smoking double or chamba using 100 kwacha. Playing around with the treasury. We thank the fiscal discipline that has been introduced by the government. Increment of salaries to ministers rejected by the president. Driving GXs stopped by the president. MPs wanting serious salary increment stopped by the president. Everyone, the cake must be distributed evenly. And this is good for us. And if we continued on that trajectory of instilling discipline on matters of public funds, you see that we save a lot. Already we have saved 2 billion in less than a year. Saved. Those public officers who are in the president was just addressing CEOs of these institutions which are parastatals. That's to own them. And if we save money that way, we'll be a good country. In the previous regime, even a toothpick we couldn't afford to manufacture. Copper was already